All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of The Inspired Show with George and Joe.
You almost said Jorge twice.
And Jorge. When you have two names, it's what happens.
That's what happens. Yes, welcome in The Inspired Show, where we cultivate growth and inspire you to perform at your highest level. Today, we're looking forward to...
Is that what we do?
Yeah, that's right.
I like that.
Yeah, that's my whole
Of
thing.
course, sorry.
But that's all right. I mean, that's what inspiration is, right?
Yeah, it's true. It just comes out of nowhere. All right. Well, today we're going to talk about our HGTV show episode. I mean, come on. It's so funny. We've been saying how it's a show. I mean, it is. It's one episode.
One episode.
And that's going to lead to many, many more.
30 minutes on national television?
I mean,
Are you kidding me?
Take with like commercial airtime taken out, right? Probably 23 minutes?
We're going to have to hunt for sponsors after this.
Yeah, exactly. So let me not give Essential Water any free advertising. So, this kind of goes back to, the genesis of the show was obviously we're in this mastermind program with Tarek Musa, who has two shows on HGTV. I think, now he has a new one with Heather,
Flipping
his wife.
And Flipping 101,
right?
Yeah.
And then, we joined the mastermind, and at some point he told the people in the mastermind that they were looking for a house that needed to be flipped for one of the episodes.
Right.
And then you found out about it.
Yep.
And then you got really excited about it, and then you told me, and then it was kind of
we were already kind of looking into that deal that we were talking about on our last show.
Yeah. And it was kind of, the timing was kind of coinciding more with a house that I was looking into buying.
Yes.
But then that didn't happen. And then we spoke to the producers. We sent them a tape. We even made a tape.
Yes.
And they finally wrote us back and said no.
Right.
Remember?
Yep.
And I remember that you were really into we got to get this show. And I'll never forget that you got to let it go.
Yeah.
Because I knew that once you let stuff like this go, then it happens.
Yeah.
Or you get over it.
Yeah,
Or
it's like a
something better
boomerang,
comes.
right?
Yeah.
You just got to let it go and it'll come back to you.
And then we let it go.
Yeah.
And then they came back to us.
Yeah.
And I guess whoever they had picked probably didn't pass the background thing. And
we assume that. We're just assuming that.
Yeah.
We don't know the facts.
He thought maybe I ruined it because I kept saying the word dick.
You did say the dick word a lot.
But yeah, and we'll tell you why I was saying the word dick is because we got this house where I was mainly the money investor on it. You did all the math, and you cornered me to get this.
Did I corner you?
No, but you were. I
inspired you with excitement,
and guilt. It was around the time where we were really eager to get into something. The market was everything was flying off the shelf. So even if you could get a freaking 2% return, people were taking it. So we jumped on it, we got it, and then we had a squatter.
Right.
So the squatter.
So we saw this thing. Or we bought this thing sight unseen.
Yeah.
Rule number one,
not to ever do. But that's actually, sometimes sight unseen works. So
it does.
It's one of those lessons where you take the shot and you get what you get.
Right.
And we can't look at it as never buy something unseen.
It's probably not the best idea.
No, but sometimes you can score.
Yeah, you can score
big.
From
and sometimes you can go see it, and there's all these issues that you had no idea.
In other states, you're not going to be able to fly into every state that you're investing in.
Exactly.
Right. You just have to have good people on the ground that will help you.
Exactly.
Give good photos and things of that nature. But that's the thing that we weren't able to do with this one because of the squatter. We weren't able to have anybody go in and show us what the inside looked like.
Right. But then, because of the squatter, it kept prolonging when we would start construction, which actually worked beautifully to get on the show.
Yep.
So
the timing was right.
The timing was right. So, and I'm just moving it along to give you guys, I really want us to both cover all the amazing things about this property and what we went through. So we started construction, and, the project manager.
Well, we got the squatter out first.
Yeah, we got the squatter out.
It took us 5 months to get that squatter out.
5 months. It was the grandson of the previous owner.
Correct.
Who felt that he was entitled to stay at that house. And we tried negotiating with the kid. I'll say a kid, but he was probably mid-20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't want to talk to us. And we offered him, like...
He was, like, aggressive.
Yeah.
Right?
I think there was some, like,
some
mental
weapons.
illness in there.
I don't know.
We hired an eviction guy.
He was an entrepreneur.
Yeah, he was an entrepreneur. We hired an eviction guy who kept trying to talk to him, and he kept, like, cocking his gun.
Yes, and he had a big pit bull on the front
it was
porch.
It was like a movie.
By
the way, this property is in Watts, near Compton.
Which is an up-and-coming area.
Super up-and-coming. So, man, our heart was and has always been in the right place. We wanted to do something for this community that could, elevate the prices for the rest of the neighborhood and all that jazz. We finally got the guy out and we start filming, and what was really a godsend was that our project manager, our producer kind of became our project manager because he kept like stalking our contractor and be like, what's going on tomorrow? What's going on tomorrow?
Message.
And you would have thought that was our big our big red flag, that we could have seen how this contractor was just falling behind. Yeah. But like I said, man, this guy was so good he had the gift of the job. He kept us.
And I think too, we also
made us think that we were the crazy ones.
Well, too, we were also in the thick of our like mental fitness work, and we were trying to like trust the process, and we weren't like trying to like let our emotions get involved. So we were just very let it happen, unfold as it was supposed to happen. Yeah, right.
Yeah. And it sure did.
It sure did.
So throughout the whole journey of this house, our contractor just kept on telling us that it was going to be a lot less than even Tarek. When he finally got in, he's like, "What? You guys are supposed to be done in 2 weeks for $60,000?" He's like, "It's going to be double the time and double the money." You know what? It made great TV.
I think they started labeling me as the hopeless optimistic in the show.
No, I heard more like you're insane, and you had no sense of reality. And the producers were asking me if you were even married, if I had met your wife, to make sure that she wasn't a figment of your imagination. I was like, no, I met her. She's beautiful. She's great. She's beautiful, and she's spicy. Yeah. So. Long story, God, so short. We finished the house. And our math kept being reviewed.
5 months after we finished the house. After we got the squatter out, right? Because we initially were told that it was going to take 3 months. Yeah. And it was just, the best part was when the contractor put a project manager on site, the guy was blind.
Oh, yeah, we had a blind project manager, which that was a hoot.
That was amazing.
When I went to the house, because he doesn't speak any English, and I was telling him to look over here, and he gave me a glazed look, and I'm like, oh, my God, sir, are you blind?
Yeah.
And actually...
In Espanol, right?
In Spanish. Usted, señor, usted ciego. But you know what? It made me... That part made me actually like our contractor, because it made me think like, okay, he's giving somebody a chance that normally probably nobody in the right mind would hire. It just sucks that it was on our house. Yeah. But he eventually got fired by the contractor, because even for his standards,
let me tell
which
you
were non-existent,
backstory about that.
The guy was doing really bad.
We're filming the show. Our producer was just on, top of everything and helping us move along. But then we started seeing things starting to slow down, like rapidly. Yeah. And when I went on site, I was trying to do my best to communicate with them, because I don't speak Spanish. I'm learning, though. I'm going to get there. But we'll see. I started, giving them things. Like I would bring drinks to the place. I bought them lunch, and then then all of a sudden, when I would show up to the site, our project manager would go tell the English-speaking worker to go hit me up for more lunch or more things and things like that. And so I should have kind of raised a red flag there. And then finally, when things stopped, basically came to a screeching halt, I had asked our contractor to give me a list of all of the items that they were purchasing, because I was like, hey, we're like at 75% of the budget, and we're like 40% done. What's going on here? And so He sent me over all the receipts, and I tell you, no lie, George, there was drills, there was ladders, there was Gatorades, there was toilet paper, all on our budget. There was nobody was monitoring that on the contractor side. And so I said, hey, you know, I'm looking at these bills, and they're buying things that don't apply to the job. They're actually filling their storage unit with tools that they should already have. So it was quite the interesting scenario there.
You know, kind of pivoting to the show, right?
Yeah.
So the show, you know, we would meet every other week and kind of go through the process and the progress, whether there was any or not. And it was such it's been a great experience. It's
Amazing
been a great experience. We had a lot of airtime with Tarek, who gave us a lot of coaching, and we become, you know, I wouldn't say we're like best friends, but we definitely have
friends.
a good friendship with him.
Absolutely.
And now, you know, we're working with him under other capacities and figuring out how to keep that friendship and work relationship going. And then what I liked how we had to kind of tie in scenes, and you know, it's like the producer and the director would come and then he'll give us kind of like a scenario, right? This week you're kind of addressing the fact that this wasn't finished or this was finished, and then redo scenes that would tie in the action. You know?
I'm so amazed at how so much goes into building a 30-minute show.
Yeah.
You know, because we've been on this thing and we're still kind of in it, right? Yeah. We've been on this thing for months, and like you said, every other week we would, you know, start filming something else, and it was a different scenario. I had to go through budgeting and make sure that all the numbers were right, and then in addition to that, we had to work with Tarek's schedule, because he's filming multiple shows at this point. In our schedules.
Because I could, you know, nobody would move a shoot day because I had to travel.
Right. I remember that.
No, it's so funny. No, yeah, there's a lot of, you know, and not that we are just a little bit more emotional just to give good TV. Yeah. I remember this one scene when I walked out on you and the contractor, and
that was a good
and
scene.
then I got stuck in the door. That door, oh my God, that house. That house. I mean, the tenant, right before he got kicked out, he vandalized the house.
Yes.
And he, you know, put profanity, graffitis.
Everything you can experience on this one project. Yeah. I mean, we had squatter, we had vandalism, we had to make an insurance claim. Yeah.
He had some lady workers. He was
an
entrepreneur.
That's right.
He had a few lady workers at the house when the sheriff came to get him out.
But do you remember when we went there after we got the squatter out and we walked the streets and we started talking to the neighbors, how excited they were for us to be doing what we were doing?
Yeah.
I mean, that's truly the precipice of what we wanted to be about, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think it was about, you know, doing a great project for the neighborhood, got to sink our teeth into all the things we were learning from the mastermind with Tarek, and seeing what the possibilities could be from this TV show airing, which would obviously cement who we are in the marketplace as flippers, as realtors, as entrepreneurs.
Yep.
You know? So, yeah, all those things kind of, I think, are still very much, the show hasn't aired yet.
Nope.
And I think that, I think it's going to be great. We need to
I
figure out.
personally feel that it's going to be the highest rated episode of Flipping 101 ever because of all the drama that we brought to the table.
Yeah, I mean,
because people love drama. And if you've seen the show, a lot of those, especially during the last few years, a lot of those shows are all wins.
Yeah.
There's really no losses. And I'm not saying that we're going to lose, but, you know, it's to be determined, right? But ultimately, it was technically supposed to be our first flip. Yeah. In the time frame that we acquired the property, we flipped multiple properties. But
because it took so long.
It took so long that, you know, and it truly looks like it's our first flip. So, you know.
Well, and then also they kind of let us run through. They kind of let us run through the whole thing wild, right?
Yeah.
They let us do our thing.
Even to that nice, beautiful kitchen that we designed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole nother issue. We currently don't have a functional kitchen in that house. I was supposed to be just the passive investor in this. So,
But then
you
once
made
we got
you made you made me really active.
but then then
in
once we got the
Spanish,
TV show, you were
exactly.
like all in. I'm all in.
Yeah. Well, it's a camera. I do love a camera. No, but I'm really grateful that I did get to. I learned a lot through the process that I was not even supposed to, because I was just gonna lean back and not really take action, right?
Right.
But it's been amazing.
And I think too, we grew together as business partners, and we understand how to communicate with each other even more. Yeah. Hence the Inspired Show, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That does it. Look, it's all led us to here.
It's all
led us to here.
It's all down here, hill from here now too.
Yeah, exactly. But we still need to finish shooting one more.
Yep.
One more segment.
Yep.
Which is kind of like the wrap interview. Yep. And you know what? I know that obviously just a little recap of what's been happening lately with the house. We took it off the market. Yep. Because we weren't getting bids for the house. I mean, we
got one offer.
We got one offer, but they pulled out, and we were convinced that it had to do with how the kitchen's not functional.
So we're both realtors, right? And we're co-listing agents on this, and it's very important as realtors, when you list a property, to listen to the feedback from the marketplace. I say this all the time to my clients is, we'll put it on the market at the price that you want to sell it for, but you have to understand that this is a step process, right? So we'll go to the market at the price, and then we'll let the market tell us what that price is going to.
The market wants to see it a lot more.
And so if you're not getting offers within the first 2 weeks, you gotta be willing to do a price cut. What that looks like is up to the people that are selling the house. Thankfully, we're the people that are selling the house. So after the first weekend, when we didn't get any activity, we immediately dropped the price, and then then we stayed on that price for about 2 or 3 weeks. From there, we started getting more activity, and we hosted open houses every single week, 4 to 5 days a week. And I started getting the feedback from the marketplace. What I was noticing is agents weren't bringing their qualified buyers to the property. And so that's another sign that if the agents aren't bringing their qualified buyers to the property, are we priced right for the marketplace? And so after 3 weeks at that initial price drop, we decided to drop the price one more time. And then that's when we started getting buyer representation, bringing people in. And so that's where you're going to get the real feedback. A lot of the people that were coming in from the open house were just looky-loos. It tended to be a lot of the people in the neighborhood just curious, because we did create a lot of energy with the cameras and the all of the production that was going on, right?
Yeah.
And so some of the things that I heard were the kitchen. It wasn't a very functional kitchen. And that came from a little backstory on that. When we fired the first project manager, we brought in a new contractor, and he was a little bit of a,
not a new contract, a new project manager.
Project manager, yeah. And he was a little bit of a,
yeah. There was just too much miscommunication.
A lot of miscommunication.
And at the end of the day, the house, it's a 3-bedroom, 1-bath. You have to go through one of the bedrooms, or you have to go through a bedroom, period, to use the bathroom.
You look at it.
So
there was really no way for us to get around that.
Yeah.
Unless we knocked down the whole house and restructured it.
Yeah.
And at that time,
we didn't have enough money.
Well, it wasn't even about the money. Not knowing that it was going to take so long. Yeah. If we knew what we knew, we would probably have done the extra steps to get it, even expand it, right? Because that's some of the feedback that we're getting. It's less than 1,000 square feet. You got families that have multiple children, and and then of course the bathroom. So we could have added additional bathroom. We could have added more space, but we didn't. Yeah. And so now, after all things said and done, the feedback really came down to our flooring wasn't level, it wasn't complete, and then the kitchen was not functional. And so we decided that we would take it off the market for now and
fix those things.
Fix those things.
And that's where we're at.
And that's where we're at
We're at right now. And we're supposed to get it finished the end of this week. And then once that, we'll put it back on the market, and hopefully we can break even. You know,
That's the goal.
The goal is to break even and to take all these amazing lessons of entrepreneurship and not to fall into the victim, and to kind of take responsibility, right?
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, and I was coming after you, but not also then like not putting my money where my mouth is, which is like when I was coming after you about like, why would you give the money to the contractor to go to the next step when he hadn't finished the step before?
Right.
Which it's like 2 + 2 = 4, right? I've had contractors that are like so tidy with the scope of work, where they're like, today we're finishing the door. The minute the door is finished, I'm asking for more money.
Yep.
And then, but this guy was like all over the place. He would like ask you without finishing. He would ask for more money. And again, he had a gift of persuasion.
Yep.
So we went ahead, and
That's a good word. The gift of persuasion.
The gift of persuasion. I could. It's either that or something a lot more derogatory. But with you, I also have to take responsibility that I just said, Joe, run with it, you know, instead of kind of overseeing things more.
Yeah, and, you know, lesson learned, what I was trying to do was satisfy, right? Yeah. I felt like if I didn't pay, he would stop.
Right.
Right?
So it was that fear of putting your foot down.
Of putting my foot down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a big lesson learned, because over time, I became more firm in paying him, right? And then that's when he decided, you know, we both mutually decided to get rid of that project manager and bring on the new project manager. And boy, that was a whole different level, because now contractor one was pushing me off on the project manager, and he's like, hey, whatever money that, you know, is being paid, it's being paid directly to him. And that made me have a little bit more, you know, posture in saying, okay, I'm not paying you until I see work completed. And then they just started completing work. They didn't run things past us. They just said, you want cabinets? We're going to put cabinets in. You want countertops? We're going to put countertops in. It wasn't like, hey, these are your choices, like a normal contractor would. They would just get it done so that way they could get their paycheck.
Right.
So that was a big factor for us as well.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes everything that kind of could have gone wrong went wrong, and it did. But going back on the show, you know, the experience of doing a rehab show like this, it's been so fun, you know, and it's been an educational process. It's definitely reignited my love for doing on-camera stuff and really utilizing TV as a platform to advertise what we're up to in the world, you know, and hopefully then use that to bring more clients, more of an audience, and take it to the next level.
It really catapulted us to where we are today. We didn't stop buying properties. We have multiple projects going at the moment, and they're going really well. We use the guy who built your ADU, Joe Leibowitz. I'm going to plug him because he's doing a great job. Lebo Builders, my boys, and you know they have our best interest in mind. You can feel that they have our best interest in mind. So another lesson learned, something that you guys all, if you're looking into being into real estate investing, you gotta have contractors that have your best interest in mind, because they're going to be a part of your team for a long time. And so if you feel like you're not getting that from your contractors, you need to keep interviewing. You need to keep moving forward.
And it's great to, you know, eventually we'll have our go-to people from, I think, this new guy that's taking over the project, Adonis.
Oh, yeah.
Which I know you love saying his name.
Yeah.
Adonis.
Adonis
is coming through so far. He went to see the house today.
Yep.
And it's how many people did he have there today?
He had 4 people on site.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I went in there, I mean, like everything that they said that they were going to do is already halfway done. that was like, and I've only paid them an initial deposit.
Right.
So it's like they're moving, they're shaking, and they see the value in what we're doing, so they want to keep working with us, right? And so that's why they're moving at a high level.
Yeah. So as it stands, we have one more meeting with the show.
Yep.
And hopefully, hopefully we'll have good news for them.
But at the end of the last recording, Tarek invited us back on the show.
Oh yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
crucial.
Yeah, we got to find another house.
We got to find another house to flip.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was a great experience, and I want to keep doing shows like that. Do you see yourself like? Would you want to host like a flipping show?
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think this is exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Nice.
You know, and I think that, you know, the more we do these things, the more comfortable we're going to get, and we truly do have, you know, something to say about it, right? We do want to help other people succeed, and I think that's another reason why we even started this podcast, so that way we can help others see that, you know, it's not all, you know, roses and butterflies in this industry. Yeah. You're gonna experience some ups and downs, and you need to keep pushing forward. You cannot stop, because the moment that you stop is the moment that you will fail.
Yeah, and you know, I do think that I you know, it is what it is. The house is, and the situation that it's in, and even all the learning lessons from it has made it into a positive, you know, and of course it's gonna sell at some point. But I feel like even the detour that we've received because of contractor number one is gonna lead us to, oh my God, that needed to be the way it was, in order for us to sell it to the right person, or even, you know, who knows? I mean, again, going back to the unknown, so many other opportunities can come in because things played out the way they did.
Yeah, and the perfect example with Adonis, he was like, "Hey, I might have somebody that wants to buy this. This fits exactly their idea of what they would want to buy as their first home, and so we might even be able to sell this thing and not have to go back on the market." So again, it comes down to everything happens for a reason. We got this property so that way we can be on the show. So then that way we can naturally progress into where we are today, and then eventually get on more shows.
Yeah, which we have another lead in for another one.
Yep.
That just kind of came in. No, I think, you know, how great it is to look at everything as no mistake, you know, and just say no regrets, and just kind of everything needed to happen in order for me to be where I am. And in Spanish, there's a saying that says, no hay mal que por bien no venga, which means like no bad can come that no good is coming from right after, you know, and it's always those hard lessons that kind of made us all grow, you know. Yeah. And Tarek was really big on that, and saying that, you know, just sell it, get your money back, and especially those bumps on the road is what made you learn. When things are going without a hinge, you're not learning, right? Because you're not encountering the problems. You're not encountering the any kind of friction in the process, so you don't have to learn.
One of our coaches at the Homeschooled by Tarek mastermind said, I met him in Philadelphia, and he says, I don't do business with people who haven't encountered a loss, because they don't know how to adjust. Yeah, they think everything's, you know, butterflies and roses, right? And so they have that invincibility factor, and that's when that's when they possibly will make a mistake when I'm doing business with them. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, and it all goes back to that entrepreneurial spirit, you know, because you have to be okay with the mistakes as an entrepreneur, and you have to be okay with losing money, because that's just part of the game.
That's it.
And just like how you might be short on this deal, another one's going to come that's going to make you much more profit than you thought.
Yep. Could be double the triple the profit.
Yeah. So it could be our greatest loss will take us to our greatest win.
That's right.
For sure. So yeah, can't wait.
So if you like what you heard here, come watch the show.
Yeah. Come watch the show. Come watch how we sell the house.
Yes.
And what else? What's your click subscribe. All your.
Yeah, pound that subscribe button.
Oh, there you go.
No, we're on all of the podcast, wherever you can find your podcast. Come see us. We're the Inspired Show, and we're going to keep pushing out more inspirational content for you, so that way, hopefully, we can inspire you to step outside your comfort zone
And buy a better house. And
better house that can be on a TV show.
That's true.